You're all probably going to be surprised that Jim actually joined me today on this short trip to Palm Desert and Rancho Mirage, which are two of the cities here in the Palm Springs area. Most people refer to the entire Coachella Valley as Palm Springs, but it really is made up of 9 cities here. And the other day, Turnkey Mamas suggested that I come here, and I thought it was a good suggestion, so that's why I'm here today. Turnkey Mamas informed me that the Disney company, is building a residential community right here in Rancho Mirage. It's called Cotino. And the building site is supposed to be just up ahead. This is Ginger Rogers Road here, and I think it's at the corner of the next light, which is Gerald Ford Drive. And we see a construction fence there on the left-hand side at the corner, so that's a good sign. So let's keep driving and see if there's any construction happening yet. And after we're done seeing whatever there is to see here today, we're going to head back to Palm Springs and drive by Walt Disney's former Palm Springs homes. Disney loved Palm Springs and had vacation homes here dating all the way back to the 1930s until his death in 1966. And one of his homes here played a major role in the creation of Disneyland. So the fact that the Disney company chose this location to build their first residential community is, I'm sure, just another way to honor Walt Disney here in the Palm Springs desert area that he loves so much. We're only a quarter of the way around the perimeter, and as you can see, this empty lot is enormous. And here's a map view from up above just to give you another perspective. Now we're coming up to Monterey Avenue and Gerald Ford Drive, which is 3/4 of a way around the perimeter. And right here on the corner, I see another sign. And from this direction, you can see the beautiful San Jacinto Mountains in the background. In the winter, they're usually covered with snow, although not so much lately since the last few years, California's been in the middle of a drought. And surrounding this location are dozens and dozens of country clubs and golf course communities. It's a very upscale neighborhood. There's the Rancho Mirage City sign on the left, and up ahead you can see a couple of the water tanks that are used when they grade the lots, and I'm guessing to keep the dust and dirt from blowing while they're in the middle of construction. With so many acres here, you could definitely see how this could take years to complete. And here's a fun Disney trivia fact. Disneyland in Anaheim is on 500 acres, and that includes both parks, Disneyland and California Adventure. And this location here is more than 600 acres, which means that Cotino, when it's completed, will be more than 100 acres larger than Disneyland in Anaheim. So that should give you a little bit better idea of just how large this plot of land is. Not much going on yet, but they're definitely on their way. This is the corner of Gerald Ford. In fact, let me turn around so you can see it. Gerald Ford and Monterey. And this big, gigantic, empty lot here, which is just, I don't know how many miles, but it's huge. It's a huge empty lot in one of the best neighborhoods, best locations here in the desert. It's 100 degrees right now. It's really hot. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning in the middle of summer. It's the middle of July. On this side of the street is Palm Desert. On the other side of the street is Rancho Mirage. If you know the desert area, right down at the end of the street here, about half a mile, quarter mile, is the freeway, the I-10 freeway. And then you come up this direction here, and you're heading toward Highway 111, which is that direction. Let me see if I can zoom in on the Cotino sign. Not sure how well you can see it there. But that's all that's here yet. So far, all they put up is a fence. They've got a couple of water towers. And they've got this sign announcing that it's coming soon. It's funny, I live here in the desert, and the last 2 or 3 videos I've done have been suggestions from you guys watching who don't live here, but you seem to have heard about these things that I haven't heard about, so I appreciate that. So I just wanted to come today to see what they had done, if anything, and basically all there is a sign and a fence around the development. Not much to see today. But I'm guessing 3 to 6 months from now, there'll probably be more to see, and they're going to do it in phases. It'll probably take a few years at least. And when I first looked at it and read about it, I thought it was a 55-plus community. But Jim actually went online and was reading, and he said that it's more than that. In fact, let me get back in the car since he came with me today. I'll let him tell you a little bit more about the community that from what he's read online. You didn't believe me, did you? He's actually here. He's out of the house. First time out of the house in a long time.
Well, first time in a long time except for shopping.
And I just wrote down what I read online. It says, a story living by Disney community.
Well, I mean, it's going to be residential planned community that'll have single family homes. It's going to have 55 plus homes. We'll have, I think they're supposed to be townhomes. They're going to have one big central lake with various amenities and stuff that cost either memberships and or dues or something. And I think there's eventually plans for a hotel on the site somewhere.
And you said there's like a huge lake in the middle, at least there's supposed to be?
They're supposed, yeah, I mean, that's the design plan. And the first houses, I think, are supposed to be sometime next year.
Next year. Well, yeah, it does look like they have gotten started. So we'll come back, or at least I'll come back. I don't know if I can get Jim out of the house twice to come here, but well, maybe as it starts getting developed and there's actually something to see.
Maybe if there's like models or something to go look at, but I'm not going to look at more dirt.
Yeah, it'll probably be, I would think, 6 months to 9 months to a year before there's models to see. But yeah, we'll come down and then they'll have brochures and I'm sure they'll have more information about the community itself. And when we drive back home, back to Palm Springs, we'll drive by Smoke Tree Ranch, which is where Walt Disney lived for many, many years. Way back when, he lived in the gated community of Smoke Tree Ranch, and some of you may have already heard me say this, or you may just already know it if you're Disney fans, that he sold that house to raise money to pay for the building of Disneyland. He was so convinced Disneyland would be a success that he sold his house to raise money to put into the development of Disneyland. And then after it was a success, then he bought another house down here outside of that community. So on the way home, we'll drive by and show you those in case you're curious. Now, the gated community of Smoke Tree Ranch, you can't get into. It's very, very private. There's a guard at the gate, and there's no way to get in, I guess, unless you know anybody there, and I don't know anyone. So if any of you watching happen to live there or know anyone that would let me in and show me around, I would love to see Disney's house. I've never seen it in person, that one. You know, only the second one that's outside the gates. So anyway, we'll do that on the way back. I'm pretty sure it's this street. Yeah, it's a Smoke Tree Lane. We're not really going to be able to see anything, but for those of you who have never seen the entrance, I thought you might be interested. And I don't think it's really changed much since the 1930s, 40s, 50s. And this is about as far as we can go. Unless any of you have contacts here or live here and want to invite me over to show me around, show me the neighborhood. This is where we stop here at the gates. Now there is, behind this, there's a stables. So you can still actually ride horses. Did you know that, Jim?
No.
You want to go riding horses one day?
No.
No? When I was a kid, we used to come here and we rode horses. And you can ride them up into the Indian Canyons, and I think that's what he loved so much about this, was that he could come here and ride his horses. Okay, we'll wait till that car goes by. Have any of you been here? Have any of you actually gone in and seen Disney's home inside the gates? Be interesting to know. So Disney's second home here is not very far away from Smoke Tree Ranch. So Smoke Tree Ranch is right behind these houses here. The gated community is just right behind here. And his other home is right up here. We're going to come to the end of the street, we'll make a right, and then it's just a couple blocks away. So he didn't move that far away. I'm not sure why he didn't move back into the Smoke Tree Ranch, but maybe there was nothing available. The stables used to be here. There they are, Smoke Tree Ranch stables. So Smoke Tree Ranch is just right behind there. And then right around here, we go down just a couple of blocks to the right, and it's his other house. It's a golf course community home. The backyard overlooks the golf course. And some of you Disney fans who really know a lot about Disneyland and Walt Disney will probably know the story that if you go to Disneyland and you see the statue of Walt Disney and you look close at his necktie, it's sort of a bolo and it has a logo on it. The logo is the Smoke Tree Ranch logo. Did you know that, Jim?
No.
Now you do.
Oh, I know.
Now you know. So share with us in the comments if you already knew that. So I think it's this street, yeah, Camino Real. And it's up here on the right. The last time I was here, I was walking and I was with Scott on tape, Scott from Toronto, and They were just building a fence around the front or something. It was a rental. I'm not sure it's a rental anymore. So I'm just kind of curious to see what it looks like. And it was very unassuming. You'd never know that it was the house of a famous person. It was just a weekend home. I think it's this one with the gray fence. Yeah, because they were just starting to build it. Yeah, I think people used to just go up to the front door all the time, and you know, there was no privacy. Yeah, look, they put a little privacy hedge. They've done a nice job. It looks really nice. It used to be much more colorful. In fact, it was called something like the Technicolor house because it had so many colors around it. Now it's just yellow. It doesn't look like it's a rental anymore. It looks like it's maybe somebody's personal home. So I don't know. If any of you have stayed here, if any of you know, let us know again. And if you're a fan of the Rifleman, Chuck Connors, his house is, we're heading this way, we're heading home, so I don't think Jim has been on the street before, have you, Jim?
Back here.
Yeah, so this is, I'll show you Chuck Connors' former home. Oops, it's right here. And it overlooks the golf course too. And I did a video about this years ago. I'm not sure if it's even still up. And one other home, Maxwell Smart. What was his real name?
Don Adams.
Don Adams. The house with these egrets or whatever these are. This was his former home. At least according, now these are all according to the guidebooks, the famous celebrity home guidebooks. And one of them is written by a realtor who knows every home in here and has sold all over Palm Springs. He's sold homes in here for 20, 30 years, and he also grew up here in Palm Springs. And so he knows, and he used to be, I remember reading in his book, and he said he was a paper boy back in the day, back in the, I don't know, the 60s probably, or 70s. And he used to deliver papers to a lot of the celebrity homes, so he knew where some of them lived because he delivered their papers to their houses. I mean, isn't that pretty cool?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is, I'm just, we're just on the way home and I'm not doing anything. This is just kind of spur of the moment and just kind of on the fly. But right up here, on the side of the hill here, is where Barry Manilow lives. Now, I'm not going to actually go to his, it's like a fortress and you can't get very close anyway. I'm not sure exactly which home it is, but it's one of these right up here in this general area right here. And he used to live right next door to Suzanne Summers, who was down at the end of the street. So I think it was up that street right there. I went up once a couple of years ago just to see what I could see, and you really couldn't see much. You could see a gate, and it's a huge, huge property up in the hills, and very well protected from looky-loos like me and other fans. This neighborhood right over here on this side is called the Mesa, and it's where Sonny Bono and Sonny and Cher used to live. And then Sonny Bono lived after they split up. He lived here on his own. And Suzanne Summers' house, I don't know if you can see it driving by here. I'm going to take a walk in the neighborhood and I'll show you. Yeah, you can see a little bit of it back there. She recently sold it, and Barry Manilow used to live right next door. They were neighbors. And there's Cream. Some of you may remember the video I did last year about Cream, which is a vegan ice cream place. And it was really good. Do you remember that video, Jim?
Yep.
Yeah, you didn't go with us that day, but the ice cream was really good. So we're going to say goodbye now. Thanks as always for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.